productivity, efficiency, and effectiveness. These are the three most important and most critical factors or metrics for any organizations because these three contributes to profitability, growth, and sustainability for any organization. These three terms are very much related and often confuse us. Let's look at them one by one and remove that confusion. First, let's look at productivity. Now, productivity is simply producing goods or services for the customer by using required resources. If we put together a formula, this is very simple. Desired output or output divided by input. Now, input is the resources or material or manpower which is required to produce the desired output. It could be a good, it could be an item, it could be a service. Now, organizations calculate this on various aspects. Now, let's look at if organizations are calculating on workforce or employee. How do they calculate? Now, if we want to calculate the labor productivity or employee productivity or workforce productivity per week, so let's say the working hours per week 40 working hours. Now, total number of item or goods produced 50 items or goods produced. Now, there is a certain target set by the organization that these number of goods or items should be produced weekly or per hour. Now, in this case, what we are seeing that output is 50 units produced divided by input 40 working hours. Now, 1.25 items goods produced per working hour. Now, when we are talking about productivity, this is the productivity, current productivity. Now, is this matching with the target or goal of the organization? If yes, that's good. If this is below, there is a concern. If this is too much on the higher side, that is also a concern because then it will increase the inventory levels. Now, that is a separate topic and separate discussion. But now here we simply talking about how to calculate the productivity and what is actually productivity. Or the another aspect, how organizations look at it, time required to produce one unit. Now let's reverse the formula now. Now 40 working hours will become output, and then 50 units are input. Now 0.8 working hours per unit becomes your point 0.8 working hours is basically your time required to produce one unit. Now, this is how organizations look at. So some organizations will look at 1.25 items goods produced per working hour or 0.8 working hours per unit. So how they want to calculate the productivity, how they want to take the action based, this is based on the organization to organizations. Now, this is how you can calculate the productivity for various other factors as well. So now let's look at another aspect of this, which is efficiency. Efficiency means using resources efficiently. Now, productivity is simply talking about desired output. Now, let's look at efficiency. Now, efficiency is simply put together producing the same output or better output or higher output or put all together by using the minimum input. In productivity, we were talking about output by input. We were not talking about the number of input or resources put together. Now, when we use efficiency in productivity, it increases your profitability because your number of inputs are reduced. So now minimal number of inputs, maximum output. That is the main focus of the efficiency. Now this is when these two put together, it creates profitability. Now how we calculate the efficiency? Again, let's look at how we want to calculate the workforce or employee efficiency. Now let's see the work which is assigned to an employee was supposed to be completed in 40 working hours. Now our available working hours to complete that work was 40 working hours, but actual working hours basically 52. So employee took 52 working hours to complete that task. Now let's look at how we calculate the efficiency of the employee now. Now the efficiency of the employee would be output is basically standard hours available is 40. Now input basically 52 actual working hours into 100. Now in this case, if we calculate this, it becomes 76.92%. Now your efficiency of the employee is 76.92%. So now there is another question over here, why it took 12 working hours more than the actual assigned 40 working hours. That's a different discussion or uh, point of discussion, how we want to improve or how we want to work on that. But this is how we calculate the efficiency. There are other factors of efficiency as well, which the way we can calculate the efficiency, and this is how we can see employee efficiency. Now in this case, 76.92 is the employee efficiency. Now there is another term which is called effectiveness. Now effectiveness means whatever goods or services you are producing, are these meeting the purpose of the organization? Are these useful? So are these meeting the purpose it is meant for? If you are producing some goods or services, there is a purpose why we want to produce that good or service. Are these meeting those requirements, the goals? If yes, then it is effective. If not, then this is not effective. Now effectiveness simply focuses on producing the desired or required services or goods. It may or may not focus on it. Basically it does not focus on the number of inputs required to produce that output. It's very simple. So effectiveness is simply the any service or any output which is produced is worth or useful or not. As simple as that. It does not count how much resources, how many resources were required to put in to produce that output. That is why these three terms are very much important and very much related. So productivity is only useful when it is effective, and then when it is efficiently produced, then it becomes profitable, sustainable, and for the organization. So these three terms are very important and very related and very confusing, but now I believe this confusion have been removed. And if you have any questions, do post on my or do contact us. We will try to answer those points. I hope this clarifies now the difference between productivity, effectiveness, and efficiency. And we will come with the more videos, and keep watching. Thank you so much.